Hi everyone, welcome back to the Oudh channel, the channel dedicated to all things cheap in the world of fragrances. And today's video, as you can tell, is a very different looking video. I originally meant to make this and upload it before Christmas, which would match the tree in the background. But holidays got way too busy. I wasn't able to make it in time, but I still wanted to put it out while it was winter time. And this video will be focusing just on cheap winter fragrances. And I want to do something different than sitting at my desk showing you the same kind of wall that you've always seen in my videos. This is the fourth and last seasonal video that I've done. And of course, the next one will be back to spring and then summer, fall, winter again until the next year. But this is my first time doing a seasonal routine of fragrances that I can show. And I want to do something special for the winter one since it's the last one, technically, of what would be in 1 year. And another thing that's going to be different in this video is I'm going to change my format with how I usually go through talking about and presenting fragrances. I'm not going to go into all the note breakdowns and dive into it. I'm going to try not to talk about it as much. I'm going to try to go through as quick as I can, and I'll save the in-depth note breakdowns and discussions for when I actually review single fragrances or the line of fragrances. So wintertime, the last season to talk about, you have spring where you have your green and floral and fresh fragrances. You have summer where it's very bright, light, and citrusy and ozonic and watery. You have fall time where you start getting into your very woodsy, tobacco, spicy, sweet fragrances. And then you get wintertime, which is where you have your very deep, rich, sometimes earthy, woody, and all that kind of richness that you can't get in any other season. And I really love the wintertime because it allows me to be able to experiment with fragrances that have different nuances to them and things that don't smell like what you would expect and things you wouldn't think would be wearable or can actually be really pulled off very well in the wintertime because the air is so cold and so dense that you don't have to worry about choking anybody out. Things stay pretty intimate, but it gives you a chance to try out things that you might not be able to pull off in other seasons. And right now, I want to give you 5 fragrances that I think would be amazing in the wintertime, and they're very inexpensive and the quality is way above the price point that you can pick these up at. Let's go ahead and get to that number 1 fragrance. And no doubt you've seen this one everywhere, all over the fragrance world talked about, and I want to tell you that it is worth it. And it is this one here, Lattafa's Ameer Al Oud Intense. So this is a very woodsy and very sweet, sugary vanilla fragrance. It also has a little bit of smokiness. It is a very cozy, very warm, ambery. A fragrance that this gets compared to a lot is Maison Margiela's By the Fireplace, except they say that this one is not as smoky as By the Fireplace, which can probably make this a little more tolerable and a lot more wearable. And this has an amazing performance on it. It's a great projector and it lasts a very, very long time. It's a perfect winter fragrance. So if you want something that's like vanilla marshmallows that's smoked with a lot of wood, it has 2 different oud notes in the top and in the base, but it doesn't smell very oudy. It's just very woody and very warm. Not really any spices in this, not really any florals. It's just a sweet, smoky, woody fragrance, and I really, really like it. Lattafa fragrances, or at least on most of them, are known not to have the best openings, that they're a little harsh, and you have to give them time to sit and dry down, and this is exactly the same. The opening to me smelled a little bit like fingernail polish, but as you let it sit and dry down, it smooths out a lot, and the dry down is just very nice, very well-rounded, and very well blended. And the fact that you can pick this up for most of the time about $15 to $17, depending on where you look and at what time of the year, just makes this an even better buy, especially for what you get out of it. And the fact that it even smells like a niche fragrance, and most people say a better version of it. Just a wonderful addition to any collection, especially to add into your winter ensemble. I would highly recommend this one, Lattafa Ameer Al Oud Intense. So now on to the next one, which is actually number 2 in this list. It is one that I talked about in a short before, and I actually talked about it in my recent women's cheapies video, and it is this one here. It is SJP, or Sarah Jessica Parker's Stash. So in the women's cheapies video I did, I covered Stash Privé, which is actually very opposite from this. It was a very fresh, bright, ozonic, very light fragrance and is more feminine leaning. But this one here, which is the predecessor to that one, is actually a unisex masculine leaning fragrance, and it's not light and bright and airy. This is actually a very dense, woody, ambery, and spicy fragrance. It almost has a little bit of a booziness to it. That's like it's not an official note, but it has that nuance. You have things like pistachio and patchouli and sage and black pepper and other kind of cedars and woods in this. It's an extremely, extremely woody fragrance, and it is also a very beastly performer. This thing will fill up a room when you spray it on and when you wear it, and it will last forever, especially on your clothes. For some reason, I just see this fragrance being worn at a black tie event. In the wintertime, you have red velvet carpets and crystal on the table, and you're rubbing elbows with higher up people and very rich people. For some reason, I just have that in my mind. And it may be the golden color of the juice and the black wrap of the bottle, but it just gives me that kind of feel that this is a nighttime wear fragrance, maybe even a formal attire fragrance. On test strip, it will definitely give you that alcoholic tinge and that nail polish or acetone kind of smell, but on skin, it is much different, it is much smoother, and it develops more into something that is a lot more wearable. I bought this on Fragrance Buy based on a recommendation from Dallas from the Chaos Fragrances channel. I watched one of his videos and he mentioned it. I saw how cheap it was and I just had to pick it up. I think it was about like $15 to $17, again, well under $20, and it was just an amazing find. I didn't expect it to be as powerful as it was, but that just added to it being an amazing quality buy. But again, if you want a good spicy, woody, ambery fragrance that has a little bit of that fine dining kind of feel to it, but yet it has beastly performance, I'd recommend this one here. It is Stash by SJP. So before I get into the next fragrance, I want to give a quick PSA about it. This is one that will depend on where you pick it up at, if you can get it for a cheap price. And for cheap, I mean like under $40, which is the mark I try to keep it at. It'll depend on the size bottle you get, what time of the year, and at the right time and the right moment, which is where I was when I found this under $40. But it is also polarizing, not just because of the price point, but because of the scent DNA and the style that it is. But this is a love child in the fragrance community. It is one that people harp on and say that it is a niche for cheap, and I'm talking about none other than this one here. It is Moschino's Toy Boy. I know, I can hear what you're saying. Yes, this is a very cheesy bottle. It's a teddy bear that's head pops off for you to spray the juice. I know it's very morbid at the same time, but this is an excellent and superb fragrance, even if you don't like what it smells like. And what it smells like is a very rosy, floral, woody, and spicy fragrance. It is not going to be for everybody. You do have things like nutmeg and magnolia and rose and flax and Haitian vetiver and pepper in this. It's a very complex but very well blended floral wintertime fragrance. And you think florals would be more for the springtime, which I think you can wear this in as well, as long as it's the colder side of spring. But those deep, rich, dark florals are also things that you can experiment with wearing in the wintertime. Again, wintertime is very dense, very dark, very cold, so you can try out things that you might not be able to wear those other fresher and lighter seasons, and this is one of them. If you don't mind rose and you don't mind florals, then I would say that this would be a great pickup for you. I happened to find this at Ross for about $38, $39, I believe. It might have been $39.99, which was right at the mark that I like to keep things at. But it was amazing because I can't even find this size bottle for that low price on any online discounters. It's like I always say, don't downplay or minimize your rack stores. That's like TJ Maxx or TK Maxx if you're in the UK, Burlington, Ross, or Marshalls. If you go constantly, you're bound to find something really good for a really cheap price, like I did with this one. Performance on this is also very, very good. It is a monstrous performer. Very, very loud projector, so don't spray too much of this on, because even if you do like the scent profile, I think it can get overbearing if you spray too much. It is also a very long-lasting fragrance. It's just a great performer all around. This is definitely something I say you should not blind buy. Either get a sample of it or go into a perfume store like Belk and try it out that way. But I do recommend that you at least try it and get a curiosity about it. Expand your boundaries and try things that are new and different like this. Again, I highly recommend this one right here. It is a great rosewood fragrance for the wintertime. It is Moschino's Toy Boy. Now on to number 4 in this list, and it is one that I probably should have recommended around Thanksgiving or before Christmas time because it probably fits better within those holidays and seasons, but it's still good for the cold weather and the wintertime because of how this comes across and just the style that it is, and it feels so cozy. And I'm talking about none other than this noble cheapie. It is Burberry London. If you have been anywhere in the fragrance community or on fragrance YouTube, you've definitely seen this in someone's list at some point for fall or winter or any seasonal things, and it is just a quintessential quality cheapie. You got spices like cinnamon, you got a booziness in here, you got mimosa, you got some port wine, you got woods and ambers, and you got a good bit of tobacco. It's a very tobacco-centered fragrance, very similar to CK1 Shock for him, but a little more mature and actually a little smoother and well-rounded. And this is just a wonderful Christmas time, Thanksgiving fragrance. A lot of people say it smells like the epitome of Christmas. And I have to say it does give me those holiday vibes. But I wore this even well after Christmas last year, shortly after I got it, and it still works. A lot of people harp on the performance of this and say that it's really not that good. And it isn't something that's amazing, but it's a lot better, I think, than what people give it credit for. It lasts a lot longer than you think. I did spray it on a coat one time, and I smelled it on that coat every time I picked it up for the next 2 weeks. So it lasted good on clothes. On skin, it does dissipate pretty quick, but while it's there, it's a very lovely, warm, sweet, ambery, and just a cozy scent, which is everything you want in a wintertime fragrance. As far as prices go, Burberry for some reason does not go any lower than $20 or $25, even at discounters. So you'll find this for around $30, maybe $28, depending on what size bottles you look at. Even at TJ Maxx and rack stores, you'll find this for upwards of $30, $35, depending on the size bottle. But it is still fairly cheap, especially for the quality you get out of it. It's just the blend is just so nice. But still, it is a designer going into that cheaper category, which we still appreciate it for. This is just a staple in every fragrance collection, whether you're cheap or expensive. Everyone at one point has had this or will have it. It is just that highly recommended, and for a good reason. But again, try it out if you haven't. I guarantee you'll love this one. It is Burberry London. Now on to the 5th and last fragrance in this list, and it is one that is, again, has that niche kind of quality and style to it for a very, very low price. And depending on where you pick this up at, again, you'll find it for well under that $40 range, even around $30 to $32. It is still a great quality buy. It's not going to be for everybody, but for those of you who like this style, you will absolutely love this. It is Lalique's Encre Noire All Extreme. So this right here is what I think of when I hear of a winter fragrance, something meant for the dark, harsh cold, because this right here is a very dark fragrance. It's brooding and it is ominous. It is for the shadows, it is for the nighttime, it is for the darkest and the coldest. With this fragrance, you get a lot of vetiver and a lot of patchouli, a lot of woodiness. You got cypress in here. You also got orris, and you got things like Haitian vetiver. I think there's another kind of vetiver in here as well. Encre Noire, as you know, is also a very dark fragrance, but it's a little spicier and a little lighter. Then you got Encre Noire Sport, and then you got this one, Encre Noire All Extreme. It's everything that you would know about Encre Noire as a line and as a style, but a lot smoother, a lot more rounded, and a little bit of a chocolatey, creamy, but bitter kind of nuance to it. Every time I think of dark chocolate, I think of this because it just has that kind of feel to it where it is a very rooty, very earthy, very, not really dirty, but almost that way. It almost has like a damp wood kind of smell. There's actually an AI generated picture I made to represent every time I smell this what I see, and I'll upload that sometime later. And I'm actually going to do a review of the whole Encre Noire line and a walkthrough of it sometime soon. Mid $30 on FragranceNet, which you could probably find it a lot cheaper on Fragrance Buy or other platforms, but it is just worth every penny of that, and this should be a lot more. This does not smell like a sub $40 fragrance. This smells so much more richer and so much more unique than what it should be. And obviously this is going to be something you would wear at the nighttime in winter. Tonight it is a rainy, cold night, and this is something I would wear during a night like this. It is not something that'll be for everybody because it is polarizing with the bitterness and the dryness that's in this, but if you love that style, you will absolutely love this, especially for the price you could pick this up at. I think it goes without saying the performance on this is really good. It is not so much a loud projector, but it is a very long-lasting fragrance, and it has a wonderful skin scent that has a very natural smell to it, like you just went in from outside and from the woods and at night with the fog and the moonlight. It just has a whole idea about it, a whole imagery that it paints whenever I smell this. I absolutely love this fragrance. It is one of my favorites that I have in all of my collection. No matter niche, designer, or cheapie, I always reach for this when it's the winter time because I never get to wear it any other time of the year, and I'm always excited and look forward to the times that I can wear this because I just love the idea about it. It's very unique, and the fact you can pick it up for so cheap makes it an even better buy. Highly recommend it. It is this one here, Encre Noire All Extreme. And those are my 5 cheapies that I recommend trying out for this winter time. We still have a good bit left in winter, so you still have a good bit of time to try these out. And whichever ones stand out to you, let me know in the comments which ones, if you have any of these, if you've tried them out, what you think about them, if you like them, if you don't like them, or if you find things that are better, that are good substitutes for them. I mean, let me know what you think of this new format, of things that should change or keep changing, or things that should probably add in, or whatever you want me to do. I love hearing your feedback. I love hearing on how I can improve this channel because I want to give things that you all enjoy as well. And if you did enjoy this video, please consider liking the video, giving it a thumbs up, or if you're not subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing. There's a lot of things that I want to show and I have planned, and I'd love for you to be along with me and hopefully help you discover something new as well. And as usual, guys, that's all I have for today's video. I hope you all enjoyed it, and I will see you all again in the next one. Be blessed.